Does this look weird and stupid? Yeah. Is this how I normally cook food? No. Hello homemakers, I'm Melinda and I'm cooking my way through Betty Crocker's 1971 recipe card library. And today we're making Sombrero Pie. Alright, Sombrero Pie is from section C, budget casseroles, and it's card number 8. I love the budget casseroles section of the recipe card library, and so I'm just kind of like exploring that right now. She just comes up with so many interesting and fun ideas for casseroles. And this one basically, I guess it's like Mexican inspired. It's kind of like chili, but make it pot pie. So there's ground beef and ground pork, and you make this kind of meat and vegetable chili, and then you cover it with a cornmeal pastry crust, and then you bake it in the oven. It sounds really delicious. Like, I don't see anything weird about it, so I'm hopeful that it all comes together well and tastes good. But yeah, I'm just excited to try this one. I think it's an interesting take on a pot pie. So let's get started. Let's take a look at the ingredients. For Sombrero Pie, we'll need a 1/2 pound of ground beef and a 1/2 pound of ground pork. We'll need a large onion, 2.5 cups of tomato juice, a package of frozen corn, 1 to 2 tablespoons of chili powder, salt and pepper, and then the cornmeal pastry. So for the cornmeal pastry, we need flour and cornmeal, obviously, salt and shortening, and a little bit of cold water. And then on the photograph, I noticed that it's decorated with pimento and black olive, so I have those as well. So we're gonna start by assembling the filling in a skillet. We are taking our large onion, which I've sliced, and putting it in the skillet. And then we're also, that's a lot of onion. Is that too much onion? I guess the onion is gonna cook down, and there's not that many ingredients in this. So like, but we're supposed to combine the onion and the meat in the skillet. So I have, go in there, buddy. Now this is the ground beef. And just a couple little meatballs. And I'm hoping that the fat will render off the meat and help kind of saute the onion too. I think that's the thought process that Betty had. Does this look weird and stupid? Yeah. Is this how I normally cook food? No. I would saute the meat, take it out, but leave some of the oil or fat, and then saute the onion in the fat. All right, this is supposed to take 8 to 10 minutes, so I'll be back. All right, so it's been about 8 minutes, and you can see the meat has really browned and the onions are softened. What we're supposed to do next is drain off the fat. There's not a ton of it, so I think what I'm gonna try to do is just kind of tip it and see if I can blot all the fat. Have I drained the fat? No. Well, that's the best I'm gonna do. Okay, so now we put in the rest of the ingredients. So 2.5 cups of tomato juice. I'm starting with 2 cups here. This looks like a lot, but I guess we're gonna simmer it. So 10 ounces of frozen corn. It's like 1 3/4 cup. About a cup. It's looking pretty good. Now I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of chili powder, some salt, and some pepper. There's not a lot going on in this casserole, which makes sense because it's a budget casserole. Like, you don't want to be like throwing things in there unnecessarily. I really think the chili powder is gonna like be the game changer for this. It's gonna be the thing that gives it all its flavor. And the tomatoes juice, of course. Because like there's no garlic in it, there's no other spices in it. Heat to boiling, reduce heat and simmer 10 minutes. So we're gonna let that simmer and then we'll go back to the table and make the pastry. It's time to make the cornmeal pastry. I'm gonna start with a cup of gold medal flour. Has to be gold medal, absolutely has to be. Then we need a 1/4 cup of cornmeal. A 1/4 cup of cornmeal. I was surprised by how little cornmeal is in this cornmeal pastry. Okay, 1/4 cup of cornmeal. Now, oh, salt. This is a 1/4 or half. We're gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. It's So double that. Okay, flour, cornmeal, salt is in. Now we're going to add the shortening. So this is 1/3 of a cup of shortening plus another tablespoon. Okay, I had exactly the amount I needed. Okay, so we're gonna put that in. Okay, now I'm gonna use this pastry cutter. Is that what it is? Biscuit cutter? I don't know what this is called. I'm gonna use it to combine the shortening into the dry ingredients. You don't have to use this. You could probably just use your hands or a fork. Cut in shortening thoroughly. Sprinkle in water 1 tablespoon at a time until flour is moistened. This is not scientific, and I know I should be scientific when I'm baking, but I'm just gonna do a little splashy splash of the water. A little splash. You want it to be a nice rollable dough. Maybe a little bit more. Just says until all the flour is moistened. Gather into a ball, which I'm doing now. Now we're gonna roll it out. All right, we have a slightly floured surface. Our rolling pin is slightly floured. It says to roll into a rectangle 12 by 8 inches. I don't know if this is wet enough, but I'm really bad at rolling things out. It always cracks whenever I'm doing it. Let's roll that out a little bit more on this side and this side. We might have to patch it. That's okay. That's okay. I think that's somewhere. We're getting somewhere. We'll have to make some amendments once it's on there anyway. So let's start assembling. All right, it's the moment of truth. We're gonna put the filling in our baking dish. Should I grease this? Ungreased baking dish. Okay, I'm glad I love it. Okay. See, I think I have too much filling for the size dish I have, but it's fine. Okay, it's going in. Maybe it's the right size dish. I think I was stressed for no reason. It is a little watery, but we'll see what happens. Now, cover with pastry, seal to edges of baking dish. This is the real moment of truth. Can I pick this up and move it over there? Okay, it's kind of crumbling apart. Oh no. It's so crumbly. Oh no. Okay, I don't think I can move it. But what I can do is take some of this excess and just kind of patch it in the hope that it will look fine. Oh no. I think I just needed more water in the pastry dough. Do I cut the hole in it now? How would you even make that? I guess I'll cut an X in it. But there's already a hole there, so. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's put this in the oven for 30 minutes and let's see what comes out the other side. While the casserole's in the oven, I wanted to show you my new cookbook I just got, Betty Crocker's Dinner in a Dish. I'm trying to collect all of the vintage Betty Crocker books humanly possible. This is from 1965 and it is a whole book of casseroles. It has some fun sections like company's best casseroles, internationally inspired casseroles, oven quick, skillet quick, and boiler quick casseroles, hearty and home style casseroles, simmered and savory casseroles, planned overs. Is that like the opposite of a leftover? You plan ahead to have leftovers? And then for no explicable reason, there's a section on salads and sandwiches, which are not casseroles. But I thought it was funny because on page 53 is Sombrero Pie. It's in the internationally inspired section. It's from Mexico, land of lively, tantalizing flavors. And it's the exact same photo that's on the card. They just like masked out the background. which I think is funny. And like also proof that, which I noticed looking through all of the cookbooks I'm collecting, is they like recycle a lot of the same recipes in the recipe card library. Like the library really is kind of a compendium of every Betty Crocker recipe ever invented. So they were like sifting through older cookbooks and just like directly pulling recipes and photography in order to make the library, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, just some really cool stuff in here. All right, so my dreams of this pastry getting better in the oven, like kind of solidifying on itself, those hopes and dreams were squashed. It definitely looks just as rustic as it did before it went in. But also because even though I cut this cross in the middle that I was hoping would allow any sort of bubblage to come out, it didn't come out from the cross, it came out from this corner. And so all this tomato sauce came in the corner, and it doesn't look very appetizing. Well, no, it looks appetizing. I don't think it looks very presentable. I don't think this is gonna look good on my Instagram feed. And that's the most important thing. I'm just kidding, it's not the most important thing. I think we just, we push on forward by making our weird shapes on the top of the pie. I can tell this is pimento and black olive. I can't tell what they're trying to make it be. If you know, comment below. My best guess, and I don't know a lot about Mexican culture, but like it kind of, not that this is even Mexican, this is like Tex-Mex, kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's like a bolo tie? That's the only thing I could think it is. I don't know. But basically, we need a long strip of pimento, which, truth be told, I don't think I even bought the right kind of pimento because they're all kind of chopped like this. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find a long strip. Then you kind of take an olive ring and put, I literally took the worst olive ring I could have. Is that something? Put that there. Like this was kind of a waste. I don't know why. I like wanted to follow the picture, but I really don't think a black olive, a single black olive in a pimento is really gonna do anything here. This is me, what am I trying to do? Distract from how terrible the pastry crust looks? With some weird symbology that is meaningless to me? Stupid. Okay. Let's go ahead and scoop ourselves some sombrero pie. All right, it's time to taste our sombrero pie. I have this comically oversized spoon. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop in our danger zone. Just, why not? That way I don't have to look at this sad, sad corner of tomato sauce any longer. Okay. What's interesting is how dense and soft the pastry is. I truly feel like it's soaked in a lot of the liquid, which is interesting. I wasn't expecting to do that because I don't think a hot pie crust does that. Maybe a little bit. And there's a lot of liquid at the bottom, as you can see. So maybe it just should have simmered more so you don't have that much liquid, but whatever. Let's taste it. It looks good. It's steamy. Oh yeah. It does feel a little watery. But, ooh, the chili powder is really nice. Like, it has a kick to it. The meat and corn, great. The pastry, and I did take, maybe I shouldn't have taken from that tomato section. Let me take another reference scoop. Because the pastry in the tomato section is basically like sludge. Like, it soaked up all that tomato. Whereas something from this crispier section, let's see here. Hot, hot. Yeah, I like the rest of the sombrero pie crust is a little bit crispier and crunchier. And that's a nice texture difference between the meat and the corn and the topping. Yeah, overall, no complaints. Like, the flavor's good. Would I have liked to see more things you typically see in chili? Like a bell pepper or something? Or maybe like chunks of tomato instead of just the tomato sauce? Yes. But it doesn't feel like it's missing anything. It's just like a tiny bit watery, which you can see there is like liquid settling at the bottom of the casserole here. So I don't know where that liquid came from. Did it come from the frozen corn? Did it come from the tomato sauce? It's strange, but it tastes really good. I am not upset about this. All right, sombrero pie. This was really good. I didn't really have any doubts that it wouldn't be tasty. I mean, it was like the ingredients were simple, but they came together well, and I really enjoyed the flavor. Like I said, I'm disappointed about the crust, but I do think that it was just like me being a perfectionist trying to make it look like the photo is what upsets me about this crust. If I wasn't doing this for you, the viewer, if I was just doing this at home for my family and I had to do this kind of rustic patchwork situation, I wouldn't care at all, because it's really just about the flavor. It actually adds a nice texture to it. Like, I don't hate the way it looks. So I can't really like say that the recipe was bad because of it. I could have added a little bit more water and I think it would have went better, but I don't know. You know, we all make mistakes and we learn from them and then we move on. So I'm moving on. I do think that it was a little watery, and I don't think that anything I did wrong made it watery. I think maybe it's just a lot of tomato juice. So I will have to dock it a point for that. So I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 red spoons. Okay, back to the movies. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, happy homemaking.